Nation's Pride Taking Back Control Hour. I'm Sheila Shaw and I am your host. This evening's topic is we're going to talk about how to deal with a chronic illness or a disability and turn it into a positive situation. Tonight's guests, we have Heather Milligan, and Heather was born without a hand, and we also have, as always, Peggy Spears, who's going to offer some wonderful insight as well as give us some fantastic stories of situations that are going to help you move forward and get moving with your life. Heather, I'd like to open up with you. Now, I know that you were born without a hand, and I have to be honest with you. I've had peritoneal dialysis for 5 years. I've had 3 back-to-back grand mal seizures. I've had high blood pressure. I've done chemotherapy, and I got to be honest with you. With all of those experiences that I've had, I don't know if how I could adjust to not having a hand, being that I was born with one. Now, I know you have been doing some fantastic things moving forward with your life. So I want to know, I know you have, there was an inspiration at one point in your life that made you realize that you could be someone and move forward with your life despite of your disability. I want you to share with us what that experience was.
Yeah, there was a woman that my mom got a videotape of. She was a Olympian gymnast, and she had one hand, and she won gold. And I thought, if she could do it, well, I can do it, and who knows what I can do. So I just channeled my energy through her as an inspiration and took it from there. And I've gone a lot of different places and done a lot of different things because I refuse to give up.
Well, that's very commendable, because I know that in this world, unfortunately, we're often judged by our skin, we're judged by our physical appearance, and I can only imagine what you must have experienced as a young child going to school and having people look at you and treat you as if you were someone different. So how did you overcome that?
Instead of looking at it as people were judging me, I could look at it as I can teach them. Like right now I work at Whole Foods, and I have kids come in with their parents, and they'll just stand there and stare at me. And I get down on their level and I tell them what happened to me, and that I can build motorcycles, ride motorcycles, do anything that they can do and more, because I won't allow myself to be held back by it. And that way I teach them so that maybe the next person they come in contact with who's a little different than them, they won't maybe respond the same way.
Wow, that's really interesting, because I know that Peggy, I know you've actually spoke with quite a few people that have challenges and they seem to overcome it. And I guess what I want to know from you, Peggy, is with your experience and the information that you've had, how does a person take back control, take a situation that could be looked at as difficult, and turn it around and be an inspiration for someone else, as Heather has just said she is?
Heather really said it's the way you look at it. It's your mind. It's how you're going to look at it. And how she thought of herself as a teacher. And that's fantastic. Everything is the glass half full, is the glass half empty. It's how it starts in our mind, what we're thinking, how we think about it. So that was number one. What she was saying is she decided, I'm going to be a teacher. And that's fantastic. And that's what we do, is we do a checkup from the neck up on that. How can we turn it around? Many people who I talk with who have a disability, why me? Why me? And you said, why not me? I'm strong. I can handle this.
Well, let me interject right here, because this is perfect opening for me to offer this story that I'm going to share with you. There's a time, I think, when we're faced with some type of a physical challenge or chronic illness or whatnot, and you have to kind of ask yourself, how am I going to get through this? What happened to me is, when I was doing peritoneal dialysis, my nurse was training me, and the nurse that I had, she was a burn victim, literally from head to toe. And she comes in and she's talking to me and she wants to give me a shot. And I'm thinking, I'm already afraid of having shots as it is anyways, and I'm thinking, how is she going to give me this shot, because her fingers unfortunately were burned as well. After me shaking in the chair for about 5 minutes, I went ahead and I let her give me the shot, and the interesting thing is the closer she got to me, I could see the essence of her, and she was such a beautiful person. And when I was driving home that day, I felt a little ashamed, because I realized, while I am dealing with a chronic illness, and it's tragic. I'm a young person, I have my whole life ahead of me, and I'm now having to deal with this chronic illness. But for the most part, my exterior showed nothing but health. Meanwhile, like I'm sure Heather has experienced, every time she goes out in the world, I should say, people are looking at her as if she's something different than the person that she is. And that is how I came to realize that, you know what, while my situation can be perceived as tragic, there's always someone who is experiencing something that may be a little bit more tragic. And Heather, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the floor back to you, and you want to elaborate on that. I know at one point, I'm sorry not to cut you off, I know at one point you were telling me that you're a professional skater.
Yeah.
And that there was a young man that was following the skate professionals, and you were at a competition. He saw you, was inspired, and came up to you, and go ahead and tell us.
Absolutely. It actually happened. He saw me here in Monterey skating on the bike path, and I used to jump all the stairs, grind rails, you name it, I could do it. And I guess I was a little too fast and I took away from him, and he couldn't keep up. Well, he asked his parents to check into where I was going to be. He knew I was a pro skater, and he found me in Huntington. My best friend on the tour was Dawn, and she was #1 in the world, female skater. And we were both skating off the course at the same time. This young man comes up to me and asks for my autograph. Well, I thought he was asking for her autograph because everybody asked for her autograph. So I kind of stood back and I was all, there you go, Dawn, another one for you, right? And he was all, no, I think she's really good, but I followed you all the way from Monterey to get yours because you inspire me, because you do more.
That's got to be one heck of a good feeling for you, because people oftentimes can look at you as a person that's just looking at you without really following and understanding and learning about you might see you as someone that can't quite accomplish the things that someone with two hands can. So that is a fantastic experience in your life, I would think, and if nothing, that gives you the extra oomph to go forward and be someone else's inspiration. Extremely important. Peggy, I know that there's a young man in the story that you love, Shad Ireland, who is, I'm going to go back to myself here real quick. The important thing is when you have something that's wrong or that you're dealing with, oftentimes it can be turned around into a positive story and become someone's inspiration, as Heather's has been. And this is what's really important. And Peggy, I want you to go ahead and share that story with us, the one that you often like to tell.
Oh, Shad Ireland.
Yes, absolutely.
Shad Ireland does hemodialysis, which his blood is taken out and put back in his body. Acts like a kidney 3 times a week. Well, when you're doing hemodialysis, you're extremely exhausted and you have so many limitations. Well, he wanted to be a triathlete. So he wanted to enter the triathlon. And everybody said he couldn't. There's no way, you're not going to do it. Even patients felt like they should tell him or give him a call. You can't do it. You're doing the impossible. And we, as you know, Patients Pride, we sponsored him. We believed in him 100%. And he got some coaches, and he did it. He is the first hemodialysis triathlete to ever actually compete in a triathlon and complete it.
That is phenomenal.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Heather, I want to ask you this. Now, I know that you are actually the first woman to graduate from BMW Motorcycle Mechanic School at the... You know what? I'm going to let you tell it. What happened?
Well, I went to motorcycle school a few years ago and went through the Harley program, and then they discovered that they were going to admit BMW to the program. Well, you have to be the top 10% just to get into that program. I qualified, so I signed up for the class, went into it. First day I walked in there, I decided I was going to be the BMW Top Tech. And I told the guys that, and they kind of snickered at me and said, yeah, okay. And I graduated Top Tech of BMW class.